one perspective is a brand revolving around founder's personality. Second perspective is institution-driven brand equity. Now, two perspectives are there. Now, how to reconcile these two perspectives? I'm just rephrasing what you have stated. Passion can be translated into institutionalized brand equity process or institutionalized its processes. Am I right? I'm just trying to pick up your word and then trying to connect it. Passion should be institutionalized.
And given the state of evolution of that industry, wasn't ideally suited to that. So I wouldn't say that it was the founder's personality that was germane to the board's decision in bringing him back. It was really the vision of where the technology could lead and the thoughts that he had of new product creation. And Apple has always been a very strong product company, right? That's been his, when you look at Jony Ive, who was hired and he's done like a bunch of products for Apple over a period of time. You can't say that Jony Ive is the founder driving the strategy. Half the people who are Apple fans may not even have heard of his name, but if you talk to him, you realize that all the aesthetics that comes into iPhones, right from the initial iPhone to 3G to 3GS to the 16, 17 is coming from his thinking. So there is an arm's length between the two, I would say.
The moot point is about the survival or continued evolution of the brand.
Right.
Yeah. And in case of why, maybe Steve Jobs was got back, there are three things that I personally feel always that brand has to stay true to is. One is the purpose, the second is the positioning, and third is the product. These are the three most fundamental things. You stay true to it. When Steve Jobs was moved out, maybe, and whatever's public, it's available in public domain, Apple actually was not true to any of these three, I would say. Neither to the product. There was no innovation, significant innovation happened during that period. Maybe positioning was lost because of that itself. And the purpose itself of the organization or the brand may be diluted at that point in time. And hence he was brought back. He got all of that thing back into place. And maybe his successor is taking it forward that way. So I think these are the three things that a brand has to, stay true always. Product, positioning, and the purpose of the brand. The second thing is that whether it is a founder or you took name of Indra Nooyi, I was fortunate that I had the parallel tenure in India in PepsiCo when she was at the global helm of affairs. And what we pick from her is how much you are ready to listen to your employees and to the consumers both. She was very passionate about listening from the consumers and from the employees alike. That is true for whether you are a professional CEO or you are a founder CEO. That remains. So see, these are very core of the businesses. These are not going away. Right. And that is where we mentioned about that the consumer does not know when they buy from Flipkart. They don't know whether it's owned by a Bansal or a Walmart. Right. Okay. So they don't know that because what consumers see is the purpose of the brand, the positioning, the product, and whether it is the product or the service is improving continuously because the brand is listening to the employee and the consumers back, right? So these are the core of anywhere great brands gets built and thrive. They don't survive, they thrive, they rule, okay? And if these are true, led by the founder or by a professional, things will, evolve. And whenever they divert from their core, at times the diversion is also that I have taken a side, okay? Inadvertently. Okay, Mr. Musk is probably not doing it for his consumers, or Mr. Narayan Murthy is not doing it for his customers that work 70 hours or 90 hours a week, right? But at times these are inadvertent diversions. A founder has to be mindful of these things, that are these diversions eroding the core of the brand somewhere or not.
So sometimes erosion happens due to some steps taken by the founders. So we are also debating or discussing drawbacks of founder-based brand equity. And this is an interesting point. Probably I can venture into that.
There is also not just the brand equity, founder-based even decision-making. End of the day, you're taking business decisions. I was just thinking of, Amitabh Bachchan is such a great brand. Where is ABCL? Okay, ABCL is not, because ABCL miserably failed to make the mark because probably the decisions or the product promise or the positioning or all of that, the purpose, maybe one of those went. I mean, he's the tallest brand personality if you were to look at. And there is a contrast in Bollywood again. I look at someone like as young as Vivek Oberoi, who lost out on the Bollywood side of it, but has now went on to build a business brand for himself. He's created a business in Dubai, and now you see him in social media coming up with, his net worth rising by virtue of other businesses, not by virtue of his Bollywood presence. Maybe you would know more about it.
A great example actually is XLRI. Now, XLRI was founded, right, by a certain order.
Yeah.
Right. It's a Jesuit started organization, right? And they are still, at the helm, right? Guiding its values, guiding its philosophy, guiding many aspects, right, of XLRI as an institution, right? And all the other, related institutions which carry the Xavier's name. So that order which founded Excel continues to influence it, right? And therefore, do they continue to, even though Excel today has probably become the brightest jewel, right, in some sense, in the educational firmament of the Jesuit empire, right? Because in the entire educational spread of the Jesuits, XLRI probably is one of the, the most.
I'll just connect.
For the greater good is the main
I'll
punchline.
Yeah.
I'll just connect to what Sir just said about Mr. Bachchan. Great actor, phenomenal. Failed as a business, man when he started ABCL, but reinvented himself. Reinvented because he started delivering on the product that he stood for. A great actor.
Yeah.
Okay, that was the product he always promised, that I am a great actor. He reinvented as a great actor. The purpose was, creating great content that entertains people. He brought the purpose back into his personality and he positioned himself there. So the moment the brand again gets back to the purpose, positioning and the product that it always stood for, it will again succeed also. So a brand will succeed on these platforms. The moment it diverts from that, it will fail. But if the brand admits it and can reinvent also on the same trajectory, if it comes back to that core.
So there are many examples when the founders' mannerisms are also identified with the brand. And you will find that, we were discussing Apple for a while. The Steve was not the easiest person to work along with. But as Steve has faded into the background and Tim Cook took over, Apple, one can complain for the want of more innovative products, but Apple has moved from strength to strength. And therefore, it is, sometimes people do confuse the brand becoming synonymous with the founder. But maybe it's the founder's style and personality which rubs off on the brand. But the core ethos of the brand, what it stands for, and some of our colleagues are talking about product, purpose, etc. But the core idea, as it keeps maturing, it's much bigger than the founder. Obviously, there has to be a starting point, and he so beautifully said it. Any and every company, starts with the founder only.
Yeah.
But what really keeps it going is people, ideas, more people coming together. And it is never really, and therefore, if there is a rub-off of the personality, that is detrimental to the brand. Because I bring my personality to this table, and that's what I stand for. He's different. But we are both adding to the discussion and the idea here, despite being different personalities. Therefore, I think if that personality people want to ape and say, because that founder did that, we will all do that. That doesn't work, and that's detrimental to the brand.
So, if you compare all the new age companies like Ola, Flipkart, and afterwards whatever company came, Zepto, Swiggy, Zomato, these are not linked to founders. So today, if you ask me who is the Zepto founder, normal means minimum people will know. Means ultimately these brands are built on what problem they are going to solve, at what innovation they brought into market, or means how it is helping individuals or customers. Means there is no brand equity for any founders. Means today if a Zepto, means some people know that who is the owner. Means otherwise everybody knows it is a Zepto. At same time, other side if you see Ola, Bhavesh Agrawal, means he built a great company Ola. Then once again EV company, you know what happened, and he got into argument with some guy in social media. He lost a lot of money, a lot of things. So there is a huge contrary situation what we see. Like Elon Musk, everybody knows he built X and all. Zepto and all this new unicorn is coming. It's not linked to any founders. Means nobody knows who is the founding member on that brand, particular brand.
Actually, the key piece there, interesting you say that, because in all of these startups, right, there has always been an extremely passionate, energetic founder who's managed to raise the money and who's managed to build these businesses and brands, including Zepto. Now, in some of these cases, the founder has remained in the background and
Correct.
built the business
Correct.
and concentrated on
Yeah.
doing that
Yeah.
and on building the brand.
Hmm.
In some of the cases, the founders have used the business and the brand to build themselves.
Correct.
Once that conversion happens,
To some extent, Ola as well. To some extent, Ola as
This
well.
is interesting
Yeah.
point, and then just wanted to bring that point that sometimes reverse happens.
that's what the inversion
That's
has
what
happened.
you said at the
In
beginning,
Ola,
right?
yeah.
That what is the
Inversion has
intent?
Exactly.
You said
And
at the beginning of the
what
conversation.
Is it that you
What is the intent?
Exactly.
Are you interested in building?
Oyo also, right? Now,
Yeah.
that inversion had happened for a while.
Yes.
Now, hopefully, it's getting back on track.
Yes.
Correct.
So that had happened. Otherwise, that business is also looking, sort of going down, right?
Right.
Byju's, another example, right? Celebrated example.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, these things happen when, I mean, the same thing happened with Bharat Pay, right? When,
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
It happened there as well.
Yep.
Now, that's the piece, right? When you sort of try and, attribute the value to yourself and then not be responsible towards what
I think-
you've created.
I think what Saumil said, somewhere it buckets very well with purpose, products, and positioning. Some of these examples which you're talking about, whether it is, Zomato, when Zomato now taking district out and then adding Blinkit, and Blinkit being very innovative with every third thing, like delivering printout sitting here, you could do,
Passport size photos.
passport size photos, anything, anywhere. I mean,
Yeah.
Just solving the problem.
solving
Solving the
problems
problem.
and adding value to your product line, to the purpose, and I think expanding. There's an amazing story which will keep unfolding irrespective of the founder.